Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am recording from Cincinnati, where I am away on a business trip, and I am very excited to be doing a review of the Boho Berry digital planner. Okay, so to get started, you first download the digital product off of the Boho Berry website. She has a site on Etsy. I brought both of these into my GoodNotes app, and then I went ahead and opened the main file, which holds the digital planner. As you can see, this first page has different links. So it has a little square for Facebook, a little square for Instagram, and YouTube and Pinterest. When you click on those links, you get a little warning that says you are heading to an external link, and then it links you to Boho Berry's website, or rather several of the Boho Berry sites. So here I'm looking around Instagram. Then you can click back out. So I just double click the home button and I return back to the planner, and then I hit the YouTube square, and here it's going to bring you to the Boho Berry YouTube website. Click that center button again and it brings you back to the digital planner. So all of those links on the first page are clickable, or all of those squares are actually clickable links. So to start off with, if you just swipe to the right, the first page that you're going to get is this January page. You can go ahead and zoom into the individual boxes, which is what I did, just so that I can see how it looked up close and personal, and then I used my Apple Pencil to write into those boxes to see how it would look to write in it up close, and then also to shrink it back down. You'll see throughout this video that sometimes I make stray marks, and that's because I forget to click that no pencil button, which is what you need to press in order to move from page to page. I'm going through and showing you what the actual weeks look like, or the daily pages. So the page is broken up into 8 quadrants, 1 quadrant for every day of the week, and then an extra quadrant as well. As you flip through, all of the pages look the same going from week to week until you end up at the following month, and that's going to give you the full monthly layout. In this case, it's the full layout for February. It is quite easy to move back and forth between pages, and once I did that a few times, I moved to those little squares, the gray square on the bottom left-hand corner. When you touch those, you go to dotted pages, gridded pages, line pages, or blank pages. I was curious to see what happens if you move back and forth between those pages. So if you move forward, you go to other blank pages, either the graph, the dot, the lined, or the blank. And if you move back from those pages, you're going to go into the last tab section, which is kind of that periwinkle section that you have down in the tab in the bottom right hand corner. I was also interested to see how you would insert these blank pages into different sections of the book. So at the very end, you have those 6 different color tabs. So how do you populate those tabs with the blank pages? So it took a little bit of finagling, but I found out that if you hit edit and then you copy one of the pages, then you click on that plus button on the top left hand corner, that lets you add pages before or after the current PDF. So after one of the pages that I wanted to insert a page, after a certain other page, you just hit the plus sign to the right of that, and then the program goes ahead and enters either a blank page or a dotted page or a graphed page. So it's easy enough to enter those pages. This is something that was really appealing to me because I really like having these daily pages where you can see all of the days of the week in one page, but I also wanted to be able to add like a dot page, which is what I did right here. And I can do that either at the end of the month, which is what I did here. I added one right before February, so at the end of January, but I also like the option of being able to add them in between weeks. So this is the one thing that's really appealing to me about digital planning. As we move forward, you can see that the different months are all coded a different color. The tabs on the far left-hand corner have different months. So I'm hitting April. It takes me to the April monthly overview, and then when I swipe to the left, I have all of the months, or all of the weeks rather, of April. Now I'm going to click on May, and it'll open up May. While I'm here, I'm going to click on one of the first days of a week in May to see how the link works to take me to that week's daily pages. So what I did here was I clicked on May 7th, and it took me to the whole week starting on May 7th. And then I tried clicking on some of the other links of the days of the week, and it didn't work. So it has to be clicking the very first day of the week in that month. So it works on May 7th and May 14th, but it didn't work on any of the other ones. On the very top, if you hit the top tab that's pink that says 2018, it takes you to a 2018 overview, and here we're looking at the future log, which is the yellow tab at the very top. If you hit the tabs on the right-hand corner, it just takes you to the first page of that section. So if you click onto the pink tab, for example, it brings you to the pink divider, which it just did right now. Then if you hit the orange tab, it'll bring you to the very beginning of the orange section. Of note, there are no pages in these sections. It just starts with a divider. So if you want to add pages after that divider, then you want to go ahead and copy those blank pages. Here is a blank graph. That one's going to be followed by a dot grid. I zoomed in a little bit so that you can see kind of the texture or the spacing of the graph paper, but you can copy any of these sheets and then insert copies after that divider, like digital divider, and then you can populate those areas. As you can see, there's a dotted, there's a lined, and then there's a blank. Something to note is that the lines and the dots and the grids, they're all this like boho berry teal color. So those are that's what you can expect of some of those blank pages. So I'm going to go ahead and show you once more how you would insert one of these pages after the divider. You want to hit the top squares at the very top of the GoodNotes app. That's going to open up all of the pages. You will choose the page that you want. So in this case, I'm choosing the lined graph. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to hit done. I'm going to click on that plus sign on the top left-hand corner, find the side that I want to insert it into. So here I'm going to put it after the pink divider. I'm just going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to add that page. So I added 2 lined pages. Now I'm going to click on the pink divider. That brought me to the front page. Then I have lined pages after it. And if you swipe to the right, there's another set of 2 lined pages, then followed by the orange, which is the next divided section there. If you click back onto the pink tab, it brings you back to the beginning of that pink section. If you are interested in what the teal looks like, I went ahead and zoomed in on those lines. I find it really unintrusive, and I kind of like it and find it pleasant, even though I'm not a huge fan of teal. It writes really nicely. I was able to zoom in and then use the pen to write in it. What I found was not really helpful was using the zoom function, which is what I use normally when I'm using GoodNotes. This zoom function kind of zooms into a big portion of the PDF file, which is where all of these links are. So I found it clunky to maneuver with the zoom file, but I thought that it was pretty good and fine to use without the zoom, because the space between the lines seems adequate for even someone like me who has pretty chunky handwriting. I generally really enjoy the interface with GoodNotes. It's really easy to do things like switch pens, which is what I'm doing here, and as I said, this layout of this planner makes it easy enough to write just directly onto the page. Now I hit the April tab to go back to the month of April. I'm going to swipe over to the right and go into the first week of April just so that I can try out how I might use one of these dailies. So one of the ways that I use my Scribbles That Matter bullet planner that's laid out in a similar fashion is using day-specific to-do lists. So let's say I wanted to put in on Monday, I'm going to wash the bedding, I'm going to try digital planning. I went ahead and zoomed in, which is what I would probably do if I was using this for my planner. And I found that when I zoomed out, it was kind of clunky for me. Maybe I can decrease the size of the nib in the pen that I'm using so that way it could be a little bit clearer, but it came across as a little cramped for me, especially when I zoomed out. So getting kind of an overview of what's happening during the week probably wouldn't work out for me, especially because my handwriting being so big and bubbly in general. Last but not least, I brought in the cover, which comes in a separate file. I copied that and pasted it into the larger planner file just so that I can have a digital cover for my planner. So overall, I had a lot of fun playing with the Boho Berry 2018 digital planner. I think that it's beautiful. It's really aesthetically pleasing. I think that if potentially I could master writing digitally in a smaller font, it might work out for me. I really like that I can add additional pages and kind of have an infinite notebook. So there are some things that are really appealing to me about it. I was really curious to get my hands on one of them, so I'm really happy that I purchased it. Currently, it is at a 40% discount, so it cost me about $15, I believe, for the digital download, and I really enjoyed playing around with it. But I don't think that I'll be moving from paper planning to digital planning anytime soon. However, it is kind of a nice option to have, and I did really enjoy interacting with it. As we continue Plan With Me May, please be sure to leave any suggestions or comments down in the comments section down below. If there's any video that you'd like to see this month, I want to go ahead and try to accommodate some of those requests. And with that, until next time, I hope this video brought you some utility and joy.